Okay, I figured out my key to success, now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith. I'm uptown, I'm the one they wanna shop with. Run off with the bag, even though we don't shoplift. All that gun talk y'all want, I'm not with. It's not cool, everybody got them long clips. You gon' mess around and get one of your dogs hit. And when you do, I hope you know you're not John Wick.
What up? Welcome back. You're now locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood. Killer to my left here, DK. Killer to the far left. Gracious enough, by the way, to let us shoot in his gym up here in North Charleston. It's called Cool Hands MMA. Former UFC Bantamweight. Professional record of 13-5. This dude's fought a lot of people, including him and Baral. Knocked him out in the second round. No big deal.
No big deal. NBD.
Yeah. Good night. Amassed 10 wins. 10-0 starting off his career till he punched his ticket to the UFC, fought in RFA. An athlete all the way around. We were just talking before the pod started. BMX, wrestling, you name it, this guy's done it. So very pleased to finally have on the pod because we've been trying to work this out for a while.
Yeah, it's been.
It's Cool Hand Luke Sanders. So
you guys can follow him up there.
Yeah, we'll put his Instagram handle up there. So Luke, let's just start from the beginning real quick. You know, obviously you wrestled and stuff in high school, but where did your martial arts journey begin?
Yeah, man.
If you don't mind, just you can, you can, if you unscrew the, or loosen the thing down there, you can make that tighter. Like right under, if you loosen that.
Right here?
Yeah. You might, sorry, you might have to go. There you go. And then you can actually raise that up to where I should have told you that before we started.
I should have did this before.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it.
It's all good.
Yeah, and so just
get that forearm work, you know?
Yeah.
If you, look at that twisty going.
If you just put your hand on the base and push it down, it should.
Okay.
All right, that might be as high as it goes. So now you can just take the mic and just twist it. Yep. There you go. Sorry about that.
Got with that aura ring on too, man.
Yeah, I love these things. They sponsored the UFC, so they gave us like the first generation, and then they kind of just give you one every generation. And then I lost mine at the beach. I was playing with it like a dumbass and dropped, and I was like, "Oh, I get it," because I was in like knee deep water, but you know that. It's gone. I was like, gone, dude. I cried.
Dude, as soon as anything goes in the ocean, it's gone.
Yeah, gone.
I had a pair.
Chalk it up to the game, bro.
Pair of Oakleys, bro. I'm going. I'm on like a boogie board or whatever. You know, we're talking about sponger.
You're a little sponger, huh?
And this wave crashed over top of me, and goes, boom, goes inside my glasses, knocks my glasses off onto the boogie board. Right, I go to grab it, another little wave. Just knocks it off. I'm like, oh, I go underwater, eyes open, everything. I'm swatting for them, right? Because I can see them. They're going down.
Gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Disappear.
Next thing you know, the metal detectors come out of the woods. About 12 of them.
Look what man, somebody look at this futuristic ring that we found. You know, like, there's a GPS on this thing.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So tell us about where it all started for you.
I was in elementary school, and I got in a fight or whatever on the playground, and so like I always watched like Van Damme and stuff like that. So I was Bloodsport, Lionheart, kickboxer.
Yeah.
Man, anything Van Damme, you know, I was always like Ninja Turtles, like anything that had some kind of like fight scene in it, I was all about it. And so I was in like, I think around that time I got into karate because of that. But I think when it all turned, because karate was kind of weird, it was not very like, the contact wasn't there. We went to this tournament when I was a kid, and I went up against like the national ranked like guy. It was like first seed, right? And when I did, he touched me and I'd counter him immediately, like bam, you know, with a good combo, and I'd drop him and he'd cry. So like we did that 3 times, and then he ended up getting his hand raised at the end, Yeah, and that's just how karate works. So my dad was like,
that's the point fighting.
My dad was like,
Yeah.
I'm not bringing you to this bullshit. Like, you just fucking beat his ass 3 times, like literally.
Yeah.
And you lost, and I paid for this? Like, are you kidding? Yeah, so I'm like, so he's like, we're not doing this sport, buddy. Sorry,
man.
but we can't do
buddy.
that.
Come on, buddy. Fuck this sport.
What do you remember? What karate? Like what kind it was?
Man, I don't remember. But dude, it was pretty gnarly, man. I remember when I was a kid, cause I got a kids program here. But when I was a kid, we'd get in fights at the dojo, and man, kids every day would be out in the hallway just leaking. Bro, we fought, and I'm like, man, if I did that here. Or like if I seen kids do that now, bro, I don't know.
I had a kids we had a kids program for striking, and it never really took off, you know.
Yeah.
And we were like, maybe they want sparring, so on Thursday we added sparring. Man, everybody circle around.
Yeah.
And you pair up 2 guys, they go for 3 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
with the kickboxing headgear on and all that other stuff, man. And those kids be banging it out, man, because they want to do it, you know. But it just didn't work out, man. But it is different, you know. Kids, they start noses bleed, different things like that. Parents, man, they're like, oh,
yeah.
They love
the blood scares people with it.
Yeah. Well, they love the thought of their kid, you know, like we were talking, kind of like the finished product.
Yeah.
But the journey, you know.
the journey's definitely
Facts.
hard, man. For
Facts.
sure.
So you did the karate tournament, and kind of just you just decided, well, this isn't kind of like what I was looking for.
So we went off of that route, and we were like, that's not gonna work. We're not gonna be able to commit to that kind of, you know, competition and stuff, waste our time and money, because we were pretty strapped on that. But in elementary school, I was in I think it was 2nd grade. I got in a fight with a kid. He was one of those kids who who got held back a couple times.
Oh yeah.
You know, so he was kind of
Probably
like
in prison now.
Yeah, he was the boy.
In prison now.
Smoking cigarettes in the bathroom.
Yeah, he was definitely in prison for sure. Because I went to high school with him after that. But we got in a fight on the playground, and I beat him up. He was a bully, you know, so I got in a fight with him. I busted his nose and stuff, and he was crying, and the teacher pulled me off of him, and I got arrested, or not arrested, but I got, you know, punished. Yeah, so I was in the principal's office, got suspended, and then basically they told me I had an option to either start wrestling or I was gonna go to the alternative school, you know. So that was the principal.
That's crazy they gave you that option.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So come to find out, the coach of the high school was the principal's son. Oh. So they basically recruited me, you know what I mean? Yeah. He recruited me. He was like, hey son, I got this little dog for you. Here you go. So they sent me to the wrestling program. I did pretty well.
That's so cool. They should do that more often. I wonder if they
Right?
do that, man. It's like, all right, it's either you're getting expelled, all right, or going to alternative school, or you going to wrestling.
I've seen them do that with the legal system. You know, you can either go to prison or you can join the Marines.
The dude that killed, that we were talking about from Clarksville, that shot that lady or whatever, he said that's the reason he was in the military. Because it was either military or prison. Or jail.
For sure.
So, here comes Bodie. So they recruited you to wrestling.
Dogs, you said?
And so that's how it all started for you, huh?
Yeah. So I did. Fighting got me into wrestling, and then it started my wrestling journey, and then it come back to fighting, you know. So but when I was a kid, there was no Muay Thai schools or no boxing places around me.
Same.
So I had no option to kind of follow that natural desire I guess I had, or abilities and wants. So wrestling kind of took me on that path, and then it ended back up into fighting where it kind of started.
Right on. And you won a state title, right?
Yeah,
With wrestling?
Yeah, I wrestled pretty much off and on from then up until high school. Won a couple like freestyle state titles and
in Tennessee the whole time.
Yeah, Tennessee, wow. And we travel. I went to Michigan one year, so I was up there wrestling. When I was up there, learned how to snowboard up there because it's like in the UP there's a bunch of mountains and stuff. So I played hockey up there as well. So yeah, I just dabbled in a lot of sports, man. I always was anything that would get my blood boiling was my thing.
Right on. So 10 fights pro. I think you had 9 amateur boxing bouts. Mm-hmm. You won all those. Yeah. You did 4 amateur MMA bouts, won all those. Yeah. So when you decided. First, all right, before we get into that, let's talk about the fair, right? You were telling us that the first time you fought in a ring, you just tell us the story. I don't want to say.
Was it bare knuckle or did you have gloves on?
No, it was boxing. So it was
like a, was it Toughman?
Yeah.
Like a Toughman.
Yeah. I moved to out of the downtown Nashville to this little country town not too far outside of Nashville. And I was just a new kid, kind of didn't know anybody, just
trying to fit in.
Yeah, not really like the normal kid in school because they were all like, I guess they went to school their whole life. So
together.
They were. So I was the new kid, kind of the outcast, and they wanted to go to the fair because the fair was in town. So I was like, cool, let's go to the fair. I'm gonna try to meet this chick, maybe get a number, like. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. And so we get to the fair, pull up, walk through the fair, keep walking past the fair, and then there's like this huge pavilion, and there's a big crowd of people. Through the crowd was the ring, right? And so there was a ring set up, and they were holding a Toughman competition. And the kids from school were all there. They were like, hey, we're going to enter you in this Toughman competition. I was like, for real? They were like, yeah, we got the money. So we went over there and we had to lie about my age, and because there was like 20 people there saying I was 18, they believed it. And so I'm just sitting there chilling, waiting for the fights to start, and the kids are all pointing out my guy, and like they call him Hulk, Mighty Hulk, and he's the prison guard. And then it was a military town, so there was Rangers that were fighting in it, and these guys all had their own equipment and stuff. And some dude's like, "Hey, I got an extra pair of gloves." I was like, "All right, sweet." And so I fought 3 times that night, won $700, and made some grown men cry, and their wives were crying, busted them up, and I was like, all right, I guess I can fight, and had $700. I was like, party's on me tonight. So,
that's cool, man.
So is that when the flip kind of switched in your head, like, maybe I'll give this a try? And so at what point did it switch to MMA? Because you had already been wrestling at this point, right?
Yeah. So I didn't really ever want to box. Just I like boxing, but it was never really like something I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a boxer when I grow up. Yeah. Not that I didn't love watching boxing. I just didn't think I didn't see myself doing that. So then after high school, I ended up doing that every year after that. I was like, that's easy money. I trained for a week after that. I trained for a week. Gotta do it again, 700 to 1,000 every year. So I did that for the years that I was in high school. That was like my little summer hustle. And then I'd flip that and make 2 or 3 more. So, and then after high school, I think that's when the first Ultimate Fighter came out. It was like Forrest Griffin and Bonner, and I was like, hold up. I was like, that's what I could do. I was like, I see myself doing that for sure. So then I was like, all right, cool. Let's go this route. And after school, I kind of jumped in, and I went to a school right there. It was John Rankin's gym, and so it was a bunch of military people there.
John Rankin.
Yeah.
Hold on. Is he from Ranger Up?
I think I don't know where he was at, but he did all the Army combatives. So the Army combatives.
Man, his name sounds so familiar. John Rankin.
He fought in Pride and stuff. But yeah, I just walked into his gym, and then 5 days later, I had a fight.
Oh, wow.
5 days later, I went in on Monday. I had a fight on Friday.
What?
Yeah, so this kid I fought was 6-1 from Texas, and they had like a whole thing on him. They were following him around, like everybody in the whole state knew who he was, and it was just like everybody was like, "That's that dude," and he was shredded. And I ended up beating him in the second round with the only submission I knew. But we were slinging leather before we went to the ground, but it was the only submission I knew. It was like Americana. It was the only submission I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just learned it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I
man.
won that, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, which I didn't know if I was gonna win or lose. You know, I didn't know. I was just like, I didn't care. I was just chilling.
It was just heart, maybe then, and with some tenacity, with a little bit of skill.
Yeah,
at
man.
that point,
it was just, man. I was just vicious, man. When I was young, I was just
think about that
bro,
too,
I banged my head into a wall till it broke, you know, and just not even think about it. Just, I mean, when you're that young and you have that like little bit of like fire, man,
you're unstoppable,
bro.
You feel unstoppable.
You feel unstoppable, man. You got so much tea pumping through you too. Like, I mean, like,
I wish I
just
still
like,
had that, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, your just body's different. Your athleticism's like crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like being young is like wild.
So your first fight, maybe they were just trying to pad this dude's record, kind of throw you to the Sharks, but you beat him with an American.
I had no idea, like, why I didn't know he was 6-1 till I got in the ring.
Oh, and then you heard the announcer.
Like, I knew he was ripped, and I was like, yeah, this dude's like, you know, he was. Did
that like fuck with you a little bit, mess with you a little bit whenever they announced his record 6-1? Did you like, I'm about to smash this dude?
I'm about to make a name I was just like, well, why didn't I know that? You know, that's like, how come nobody told me? Honestly, I was like, oh, these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
It's the
I was like, now it's time to go. Like, I gotta get in, like, because he's gonna hurt me if I don't. So, like,
that's why I'm like, dude, you got to do it to them before they do it to you.
Yeah.
Because they're going to do it to you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to hurt them.
You signed up for it.
Before they hurt you.
So, 10 fights until you got to the ultimate goal in MMA. Every fighter wants to be a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Out of those 10 fights, can you remember one where maybe the toughest that you had fought or the toughest opponent you had fought, or a time, because me and DK have talked a lot about his career, and and even Jeremiah has said before, like, sometimes you're walking out there and you're just like, fuck, I don't know if I want to do this, like, so, and I imagine every fighter has, a healthy amount of fear going into every fight.
Yeah.
Is there one time in particular that kind of sticks out to you? And
man, I feel like every fight I would be like, why am I doing this? And then the second it's over, I'm like, bro, I want to do it again.
It's kind of like tattoos for me.
I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, what the hell am I doing back here? Why did I sign up for this anyways?
You ever hear like Cowboy Cerrone talk about it?
Yeah, I've heard it.
It's that, dude. It's like, man, I'm scared as fuck. Like, I don't even want to be here. I don't want to do this shit. But then you're like, even like when people are announcing my name, I'm like, all right, shit, I got to fight right now.
Yeah, I know.
You got to look hard and shit. Like, look like you mad. Look like you about to beat this dude's ass.
Yeah, man. But for me, honestly, I felt like the more the bigger the stakes, and the more I was like scared, and I had more like doubts, and felt like they were gonna hurt me and stuff, the better I did. Like, if I was like not worried about somebody, or not, like, I didn't feel like I wanted out, then it wasn't the same kind of like approach for me. So it's kind of like my last two fights were during COVID, and there was no crowd, and it just felt like a sparring match pretty much on like a gym day where like nobody was even there. You know what I mean? It was just it was a weird experience. Yeah, it was just, I mean, and there was no like,
you could probably hear the commentators. Could you hear?
You could hear the commentators. You could hear the coaches. Like, it was just, man, it all got in my head a lot because it was just. It reminded me of like when you're in high school and you show up to class late and like everybody's already sitting down taking a test and you like walk in and you're trying to be quiet.
Everybody looks
like,
at you.
And everybody's like isolated too. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, man, I'm like looking around, like walking out in the Apex and I'm like trying to get some kind of emotion. Like I'm like, but I'm like, man, the only thing I seen was like a few like little things on the wall and like, you know, people all covered up and like and then a ring that's lit up, but it's quiet as shit other than my music. Like and I'm like, man, I picked the wrong music. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to
get pumped up.
I'm like, bro, this is like, I'm like usually trying to chill out because of the energy and, you know, I'm usually trying to chill. And I was like, this ain't chill. This is more than chill. This is like, I'm ready to go into the grocery store, you know, like what is going on. But I feel like the Apex shouldn't count against records. I really do, because that's not a fight, man. It's not. You have no crowd there. There's no, like, especially for a UFC record, bro.
A lot of people feed off the energy of the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I do, man. Like when I come out, I'm like, let's fucking kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody else yelling, their beers are flying around.
I mean, you know, you get the oohs and the ahs, and it plays.
That's why you started fighting too.
It plays a factor, but like, if we're talking UFC though, the Pinnacle, they're doing it for money, right? They're getting a deal from the
whoever the
ESPN, from this person, from that person.
Sponsors.
But and then like it just doesn't do the same. Some guys shine in it, some don't. For me, it was the crowd, it was the energy, it was the fear, it was like not being one that like people like putting that pressure. It was all about the pressure, and just like the Apex thing was never it.
I wonder if like the dudes that do really good in the gym but don't do really good in the spotlight,
what I'm thinking.
I wonder if they do good in that.
I think so. I believe they do. But then again, maybe it's just the people who are kind of like even all across the board. Like it really doesn't matter if they're just steady.
Right.
They're just pretty baseline no matter what the circumstances are.
They do the best.
I think they're probably doing the best.
But that's the complete fighter though, right? You know, being able to fight wherever the time, whatever it is, you know, and so us as martial artists, you know, so that's kind of like shit. Like that's like a downfall of mine. I should be able to fight at any point in time, you know, not knocking you or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's like I consider you a martial artist, and it's like that's the thing we try to overcome, man, is different things like that, because just with fighting, my whole goal was to get to a point to where when I go into a fight, I am not scared. Yeah. And that never happened. Yeah. That never happened. I never conquered that fear. Was I scared of fighting? No, I wasn't scared of fighting. I was just scared of the outcome, right? I didn't really know the possibilities. I was confident in my abilities, but I just like, and so part of it was like, all right, the more I fight, the more I'm going to get used to this feeling. But then it's like, the more you fight, the bigger the bigger the show, the more on the line. Yeah. You know, and then I had people behind me, like I was teaching people, and that pressure. It's crazy. It's trying to balance all those things as a martial artist, you know. So I can only imagine, like, you're really fighting in front of millions of people, but not really. You know?
Yeah, for me, and two, I agree with that 1,000%. I did get to the point to where I wasn't fazed by anything. Like I was just like numb to it all. And that's kind of when I knew it wasn't for me anymore. Because like, I mean, like I wasn't getting that fear anymore. I wasn't wanting to to wear people's skin anymore and just like take a head and just
For
like
sure.
eat that shit. Like, you know, like, you know, because
the savage had kind of
I was
dwindled
younger,
away a little bit.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I wanted to get to the UFC and I wanted to win the UFC title. Had 2 ACL surgeries during my 6 years. So like, yeah, and I'd already had
Same
one
knee?
before that. Both.
My knee's
Yeah.
bothering me
It
right
was
now,
always-
dude, and I'm like,
Yeah, it was always from like dumb stuff too. It was never from training. It was always from like me trying to get some other kind of adrenaline, like hiking, cliff jumping, doing something like that I shouldn't be doing anyways. You know, showing off for a broad or something.
did you go cliff jumping in Arizona?
Yeah, we dove cliff jumping in Arizona, hiking. The first time I blew it out was right after I got my UFC debut. Literally within 2 weeks, I'm hiking the Hollywood sign. You know, I'm hooking up with this model. I'm out there hiking the Hollywood sign, and I'm like jumping off of stuff, just being a fool. Cause I'm like, bro, I'm invincible. Just fought top 15 guy on 2 week. 10 days notice, knocked him out, a weight class up. I'm like, bro, like, can't nobody touch me. Are you kidding? Like, I'm ready to go against the champ right now. I was the champ. Like, in my mind, I'm the best in the world, period.
For sure.
Blew my ACL out, hiking.
You were just walking?
I was cliff jumping stuff, like
you was
boulders
jumping
and stuff.
jumping
I was
around.
parkour, bro. And I landed funny because the deception is weird sometimes when you're looking at stuff. It's farther or it's shorter. So when I did that, I tried to
Chick was with you?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh no, you did it in front of the model?
Yeah, so I ate dirt, and I knew as soon as I did it, I was like, yep.
I just fucked
I
up
was
my
like,
knee.
yep, that's it. But
You had to play it off.
I played it off. I walked it down. I woke up the next morning. I went for a run on Santa Monica Pier. Like, you know what I mean? I was training. I was about to fight, and I went back home. I was in Nashville training at my gym that I was the owner of at the time, Nashville MMA. So I was training there, and I was about to fight in Croatia. In like a month, they hit me up and they were like, yo, and I'm like, bet, let's go. I'm ready. Like, let's go to Croatia. I'm good. And so I'm like waiting for the contract for like a week or two. And I was training and I was like, man, my knee would give out. It would buckle when I would explode on the end range, you know, like for a deep shot or like a heavy combo. It was kind of buckle on me. And I was like, man. So I hit up my manager. I was like, yo, I think my knee might be messed up. Like, it just keeps buckling on me, and like it don't buckle. I mean, it's messed up already from like years ago when I tore it, but it's not don't buckle. Like, so we got we got an MRI and it come back torn, and so I was like, all right, that's a whole year sitting on the shelf, and I just got signed. I was like, dang, I got all this momentum, and so I had surgery on it, and thankfully, because it was from hiking, I told them exactly what it was. Because it was from hiking, it actually covers through their insurance, so I was able to get my knee fixed through insurance. So that helped.
The UFCs?
Yeah.
Wow.
But still, I mean, I was like at my peak. I was like firing on all cylinders. Like I was fighting. I was 30, so I was like, I just turned 30, and I was like, you know, I was able to fight like every 3 or 4 months. And so once I did that, it was like the same knee that I had tore like right after high school. So I was just had to, like, that's kind of where man, when you're 30 and you're having some surgeries like that, sometimes you can bounce back, but then sometimes like you just, you know, lose a little step and then, you know, so.
Dude, that's why we were talking about it a while back, and MMA is so different. And boxing too. You lose one fight, man. Boxing's way different because you lose one fight, that sets you back like 10 fights almost, you know?
Yeah.
MMA is different. You lose one fight, you're back like 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have to win like 3 or 4 to take the place of that one loss, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a short career too, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, a lot of these boxers that are still boxing, Canelo, man, he's got 50-something pro boxing matches. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not even including his amateur career.
Right.
And then you got Lomachenko had 300 amateur fights, you know. So MMA careers, they're short comparatively to everything, man, because there is just so many different ways to win, man.
But there's so many. But see, for them, they can do and compete so often because the hustle and the work isn't as much, and the injuries aren't as high.
You're doing back work.
It's one facet of a fight game.
It's one facet.
It's like sometimes it's like, and then it became for me not getting ready. It came from me not getting injured. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I not get injured and stuff? So
you don't train as hard.
Yeah, well, it just, man, you have to kind of like, you have to scale yourself back a little bit because I was like, I couldn't afford to like get hurt again for another year. I'm like, and then at that point, for like, we kind of talked about it earlier, but like once I committed and I was able to like support myself from fighting, that's when like I personally didn't do as well either, because like that's all I had to think about. Instead of like being my passion, it was like, now it was like how I pay the bills. And then it's like, well, if I don't win this win bonus too, then like I'm not gonna have anything to put behind as a fall point, like for my family. So like I think too, it's like the win and the loss purse. I don't think that should be like, because like, man, every fight I've ever lost, I ain't never got my ass whooped in the UFC or lost a fight. Like not with these, like maybe I got beat, but I didn't get my ass whooped. If anything, I was whooping the ass. I might have lost the fight, but I always whooped the ass.
You won the battle, but didn't win the war.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, you won that play and you got me. Like, I threw an interception. You ran it back into the end zone.
Yeah.
But,
time was up.
But yeah. So, like, the game was over now. But, like, if we'd have reset, I would have, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's just how the MMA world is. And I think it's kind of unfortunate that there is a win in a show. Like in boxing, you don't have that. Show. You show up, you should get paid your worth.
That's BKFC.
Not whether or not
BKFC's
you win or
doing
lose.
that.
Yeah,
BKFC does.
Well, they're boxing too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just take the gloves off. Yeah, and which is cool, and I like that. And that was definitely on my bucket list, BKFC. And I talked to him a little bit here and there. I just, you know.
They got a show in Myrtle Beach.
They got a show coming to Myrtle Beach.
I was going to be on the first one. I was going to be on the first one. I was waiting for an opponent. I agreed to it, price and everything, but they never sent me the contract. Wow. And I wasn't going to, like, reach out and just because I like organically. Like, I don't look for fights, but I will fight. I won't turn it down.
So that's something that you'd still be interested in?
Man, I don't think so. Not at this point. I mean, you know, you never know. Because I'm like that. I'm more or less, you know what I mean? Like, I never know what.
Well, I feel like prize fighters will you'll always be a prize fighter. You know, if somebody comes with, I know DK, if somebody came in with the right amount of money, I bet he'd do it.
Yeah, I get 50 grand, man. I'll step in that fucking ring, bro, real quick, man. Bro. Give me Jay-Z. Me and Jay-Z go. 50 grand, man. That's about the only way. Shit. Awesome. I be telling Megan all the time, like watching a fight, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start fight camp tomorrow. She was like, okay. All right. I was like, man, I can whip a lot of these dudes' ass, man. Come on, dude. Or it'd be after, not even after UFC, a local MMA show. I'm like, dude, these guys are garbage.
Yeah. It's just the training, though, is like where it's like, you know, you have to,
It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's the training's brutal.
So you had mentioned bonus. So I know you got a bonus. You got a performance tonight against Baral, who was former champ. Lost his belt to TJ Dillashaw, which I think a lot of people would consider one of the best bantamweights ever. You know, depending on if you think he was cheating the entire time or not, I guess. So tell us about the lead up to that fight. Now, would you say because of the opponent that maybe one of the bigger fights that you had, or would you agree with that, or would you say, you know, somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely the biggest name.
Right.
The lead up to that fight was kind of like one of those things where, like, I got hit up. My manager was like, "Yo, we got you a fight," and it was like, it's Baral, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, for real, y'all love me. Like, y'all always give me the Brazilian dogs. So I was like, all right.
So this happens to me or used to happen to me. When you get hit up or you get that text that, hey, got your fight, or you get that call, what happens? Does your heart drop? Do you get excited? Me personally, my stomach starts to turn and roll over, and I got to shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I immediately start looking up the guy. Start doing my research because back in the day we didn't have any research, but nowadays
Sure Dog.
Sure Dog. MMA.tv.
I didn't have to look him up.
That's for sure. Yeah, definitely didn't have to do that.
Yeah, so I just said my immediate response is bet.
Yeah.
That was mine. I'll just send it back with the same sentence I read. I was texted, okay, let's go. And so I got ready for camp.
That was 2 weeks notice?
Well, so that was my debut, but Hen and I had like maybe a couple months.
Oh, okay.
So you had a full camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was out from
ACL surgery or?
Yeah, so I had got hit by a car on Main Street in downtown like a week before this, right? And I was riding my bike, and my daughter and my dad was at my house because it was right behind the gym where I was owner of in Nashville in downtown. So I was riding my bike from the Greenway, and I just put in like 15, 16 miles at least, and I was like cutting across Main Street. And when I did, this dude was hammering it. And so I wasn't supposed to cut across where I cut across, but because he was hammering it, I was looking head on head with him when I came across the street, So I'm like, oh, and I hit the left and he swerved right because I see him start to cut right. So I hit left, and I was like, I seen his car, his headlights like coming right at my face, and I'm like, oh shit. And so I leaned a lot, and then I seen his tail end. I missed the headlight, and I seen his tail end, and I hit the rear view, but then I seen his tail end come sliding. And so I was like, all right, here we go. And I just threw my hip, and I hit the tail end of his big body. Yeah, I hit the tail end right here on my hip because I knew if it hit my leg, I was going to be mangled. Yeah. So I just threw my hip because, you learn through sports and enough shit, you learn don't fucking land on your elbow. Don't knee. So I'm like, all right, my hip. And this all just speed, right? It was slow motion, like those movies. When I hit it, and I fucking went flying up in the air. And my bike's just flying through, and it was in the scenes where you see all this shit flying in the air, and you're just and I think I landed on my feet, man. In my mind, I did. I landed on my feet, and I was
the adrenaline.
Everybody runs out of Edley's barbecue because it was right in front of Edley's barbecue on Main Street. My gym was two stores down. My house was the next street over. So everybody comes running out of Edley's. They thought I was dead. Within 30 seconds, the fire truck, they shut the street down. It was downtown Nashville,
Wow.
So I was they were like, you want to go to the hospital? Go to the hospital, get in the ambulance. I'm like, no, I'm good. And my dad, I called them. I was like, yo, I just got hit by a car. So they were walking up when this was all going on.
Wow.
My daughter and my dad, they were like, what happened? Wow. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They're like, you should get in the thing. I get it. I was like, nah, I'm good. And so I walked home, fixed my bike. And then
this was in the lead up to the Baral
this
fight?
was a week before.
2
weeks before.
No way.
Yeah, so
Cool.
So no, did you have any significant injuries from that, or
so I was out in Phoenix training, and I was getting ready for the fight, and I was with Fight Ready, that gym. It was the first time I went to Fight Ready because I was kind of bouncing around, and I got a whole story about like training camps and all that stuff, but I was with Fight Ready that camp. Coach hit me up, my buddy Stanky, and he was like, yo, come out here. He was like, stay with me. He was like, I want to train you. Like, and that's all you want. Like, for me anyways, like I wanted a coach to be like, yo, I want you to train with me. For
sure.
Because usually, you know, and we're all proud martial artists, and we don't want to like ask somebody and they don't want to ask you
You're
either.
exactly right,
you
man.
know
I don't
what I'm saying?
Me as a coach, like I want to be like, hey man, like let me train you for this fight. Like let me get you ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have to kind of do this more. Like be like, hey, dude, like I want to train you just like that says. Like you never think that somebody wants to be like, oh shit, like he wants me. Yeah. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I did that, and I always had good success too. So, like I think when you have a coach and y'all vibe good, I'm all about vibe too. Like even when my guys or like even like people who come in here, I'm always like, bro, if you like the vibe and you feel good here, come here. If you don't, dude, just go somewhere else. Like no hard feelings for me. But
Same
like,
way
if you
with
don't
me,
want to
man.
be here and you don't like my style and you don't flow with me, like cool, bro. I don't got no hard feelings. Like if you're my girl and you think you want somebody else, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to fight for you. Like, either we're together and we're going to rock this, you know, ride this thing out.
And we trust each other. We build this.
Click or we don't. And then that's cool. But, like, you got to, like, go where you get the good energy. And so I was out there training and it was going good. But I was like, I think it was like the week before, like the fight week, and I was like, man, I hit up the UFC. I'm like, yo, like my knee's fucked up. It's fucked up. And so like they were like, all right, cool, go see the doctor. He's the Diamondbacks like doctor.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, hey, yeah, your shit's fucked up. It's pretty much not there. It's not working. And so they gave me some cortisone. And they're like, well, hopefully that helps. And it was locking up and shit on me, and just like, bro, I couldn't bend it past like
It's a week
45 degrees. Yeah, I couldn't bend it past like 45 degrees, dude. So the week of, like, there was a couple of days during the training week I couldn't. And like my buddy Casey Dater gave me some like CBD oil. I rubbed it on there. I was like, and then I could fucking squat again. I was like, all right, I'm good to train. So I trained, and then like
didn't lock up.
Yeah. Well, it was just like, it didn't lock up that training session, but it was sore again. And it was just like, and then like, so I had to, like after I had those ACL surgeries in my UFC career, that was my second one in the UFC. So like after that, it was always like for me to like try to warm up and get ready. It was like 30, 45 minutes. It was, you know, just to like foam roll it, do the rehab, get it like working again, and able to like, I mean, still to this day, I can't like do a full squat, but I train every day. I got arthritis in it, and like, you know, but like, I'm like, it's just from doing stupid stuff though. Like sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. Like I'm too strong here and here. Like sometimes my body can't keep up with it. Yep. And it was just like, all right, fuck you. We're gonna stop this train. Man. Like
I just hurt my knee last week, dude. I was rolling, and man, I'm 41, dude. And I don't move the way I used to. That's for sure. Man.
So you make it to the fight.
Yeah, it's funny because UFC, they'll let you roll with it if you want to. They don't care.
Save them the hassle.
Yeah, they ain't have to find somebody else.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, so they knew my shit was fucked up, you know, going into it, and I come out, man. I was able to compete that night. I knew it was not near like 80%, but you know, like I said, the higher the stakes, the worse like my hand is always the best I do. Like it's like, I don't know, I'm just like that one who like I have to have a chip on my shoulder and feel like
you're that pit bull, man.
Yeah,
it's got the
like,
gameness
yeah,
in you, man.
I just feel like I gotta have like the odds stacked against me. I love like that, but so I end up doing really well. I get the knockout in the second round, and that was pretty much the big.
And what was that
big
like?
Fight for me.
What that was on?
Finding out you get the bonus. What was that like?
Oh, that's nice, man. I got the bonus I got the bonus my first fight when I fought Maximo Blanco. Man. He was in top 15, and I had just fought the LFA RFA merger when they merged into LFA. So I won that fight, and then I ended up getting Blanco on 2 weeks' notice a couple months later, and so that was a weight class up, and he was top 15 in the UFC. And I knocked him out, and I got the bonus in Boston. So Boston is a nuts crowd. That crowd is awesome. It's lit. And I got the bonus then. I got addicted. So like that threw me off too, because like, you know, you don't want to chase knockouts. Like you want knockouts and you can get them, but when you're chasing them and you're like, you're looking, it just it changes. It changed my like
how you go into the fight.
It changed me just wanting to eat people to like just wanting to knock them out, which is like, you know, that wasn't my style. I was more or less like I wanted to hit you as many times as I could. I wanted to beat you. Like I wanted to beat you to a win. Physically like beat you into like me winning. Like I didn't want to knock you out. I wanted to like
you wanted to break people.
I wanted to punish you, you know, like and make then I just, instead of doing that, I turned into I want to knock you out because I want 50 G's. So that kind of messed me up there too. I was like, dang, changed my dynamic a little bit. So then I got too horny for the knockouts, and you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So when you look back on your career, you know, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently?
Nah, man, I have no regrets with the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got to learn how, for me, like I think people and young guys who are fighting, they need to learn how to train smart and just like not get injured in the gym. And like those injuries just take a lot out of you and take a lot of time away from you. And like in this sport, it's so fast and evolving. Like you miss a year.
Yeah.
That's like 3 years worth of training.
For sure.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you're not training once a day. Well, I'm not training once a day, or like, you know what I mean? And like most guys at that level aren't either. So they're like, 1 year is like 3 years.
Sure.
You know, and martial arts, like that's like 3 years. If you take 1 year off, you really lost 3 years almost.
Yeah.
Because you're not competing, you're not getting better, you're not. So like just staying healthy and just continuing like to train is like almost like priceless.
Yeah. Where did the name Cool Hands come from?
My parents were big hippies, so they started calling me that when I was a little kid. Yeah, they started calling me when I was a little kid, and then I started fighting in my adult years, and it came back after that. They started calling me that again, and so yeah, just been.
That's a cool name.
Right on. Yeah. So how long have you had this place here in North Charleston?
Just hit a year. So
very young still.
Yeah, still young. It's good though, man. It's like I didn't really have any people here, and you know we've had like I think we've had 3 or 4 fights that people I've trained, and so all the people I've trained so far have won. So
nice.
That I would say I've trained. Like other people I've fought that, but I didn't really train them. They were kind of doing their own thing too. So like somewhere else too. So, but like all the guys I've fought, I feel like we've done really well, and it's been good, man. Like we got a good vibe. Like I was telling you, good atmosphere. I love North Charleston. It's just it's a little bit different than like downtown Charleston.
Oh yeah.
So I really like the vibe here. I don't live far, and just ended up in this spot, and it's been good. Yeah.
Right on, man.
Cool, man.
Well, we would love to have you come down to our end of our neck of the woods sometime, and we could shoot another pod down there, and you can come, bring some of your guys, get some work in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That'd be good. I'd love to get that in.
2-hour drive.
Yeah, everybody gets different looks, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
for sure. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Now that we're here, we'll definitely do that in the next few weeks. We'll get it up there.
Right on, man. Bodie's just going
my
crazy
son's about to lose it. He's had it.
Well, that's cool, man. So yeah, if we can get you down to Myrtle, and we can shoot another pod there, because I feel like there's a lot of obviously there's a lot more we can cover. We're kind of on a little bit of limited time today. We got fights tonight and stuff.
Yeah, man.
But
Good luck to you boys.
we certainly appreciate this, man. This also, dude, we've been talking about doing this for months now, just going back and forth, finally able to put it together.
For sure.
So yeah, dude, appreciate it. You wanna take us out?
So again, Luke, thank you, appreciate you. You guys, thanks for locking in with us. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Give him a follow if you will on Instagram. He's on X now. You still do that?
Yeah, I got it, but I don't do that. Social media is kind of it's hard to do sometimes.
It is, man. It is. I've kind of gotten out of posting as much as I used to back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're ever in the North Charleston area, come by and check out Luke's place
definitely,
called
Cool Hands
MMA.
MMA, man.
Yep.
Pretty cool spot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Appreciate you guys logging in, and until next time.
Out.
Yep.